how you got into RP and why did you start FC dedicated to RP as well?
Do you want the long answer or the MMO answer?
Up to you.
I started role playing when I was 9 on Neopets.
Good.
And I just kind of, over the course of like my time trying new games with friends, we always ended up role playing. And eventually I got into WoW, and one of my friends moved to Moonguard, which is one of the roleplay servers. And from there, I just kind of tried it out a little bit. Wasn't sure if I liked it because it's a completely different pace from forum style. And then I got really invested in one of my characters. So it kind of went downhill from there. I've led a few guilds on WoW too, before I moved to Final Fantasy a few years ago. For this FC, I actually didn't start Final Fantasy 14. I moved to Balmung with a friend because we just wanted a fresh start from the server we had been on. And I had a chance encounter with somebody in a Weeping City of Mach run way back in Heavensward, and I had forgotten all the mechanics, and I kept cracking jokes or something, and it made her laugh so much that she asked if we were on her server. We added each other on Discord, and then she mentioned that the FC she was in had roleplay. My fiance and I are like a package deal, so we talked about it, and we were like, okay, we'll join it. We didn't really know what to expect. It was described as a newspaper roleplay, and I was like, I don't know how engaging that'll be. But we were like, we had no real plans, so we just decided to try it. We joined right when the newspaper, the Crystal Chronicle, was launched for the first time. You can actually still look it up. I'll give you the link. It is basically a fanzine that we did every week where we actually did role play out, reporting the events that we found people were doing and just general roleplay goings on Balmung. And we got really invested really fast. My fiance started writing articles, and I was contributing screenshots. And we would run little events to kind of like form more bonds with each other. It was very slice of life, but very fun. So I got to know the community on Balmung that way, and ever since I've just kind of been super invested. I ended up becoming the FC leader after lots of changes were made. After I was promoted to officer for some of my contributions to the art department side of things. And then when we finished the project, because a lot of us got really burnt out, this was like every week, all the way through the very end of Heavensward and the beginning of Stormblood. We ran it for almost a year. We just didn't have time to do other things. Like, we couldn't really do things like raiding or have like our own kind of roleplay storylines going on because we just didn't have time. We were doing this every week and publishing a new newspaper every week, and then advertising the newspaper on our Sunday nights. So it was just a lot of work. We ended up rebranding to an info broker because we thought that would be like the natural course of things. And so our roleplay changed from reporting on everybody else to becoming our own contained storylines and stuff. We did an excavation into Mach and recovered some Machi artifacts, and then got to fight a demon cult. And I ran that storyline, and people had a lot of fun with it. So because of the response, we kept running that kind of style of roleplay. It's kind of like D&D, but on a very, very, very lighter scale. You can use D20s in this game if you type in the number that you're rolling. So we use D20s as a way to mark certain things. But it's still pretty freeform. Like if your character is good at something, we're not going to make you roll for it, that sort of thing. And fights are usually determined with a defend or attack roll, and it's just whoever rolled higher wins.
So pretty much you were doing like RP mechanic inside the RP game at the same time. Okay.
Sounds pretty cool.
Yeah,
we experimented with a combat system that my fiance designed, but it was just too complicated for people to remember everything and submit new sheets every week. So we decided to do away with it because the freestyle was just working better.
And having like a system that super simple with just a d20 makes it like
Mm-hmm.
easier for you to track down as well. So.
Oh yeah.
So you've been running. So how long did you been running that?
We made the switch to an info broker in, I want to say it was 2018.
So 3 years already. Okay.
Mm-hmm. The newspaper we did through 2017. That started in the January of that year and ended in December.
Oh.
So 1 week of every week you were doing that.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that's quite insane. Like I can see why you say you burned out for that, because that's a lot of work, and yeah, that's impressive.
It was so much. It was every week I was in charge of finding leads because I was on Tumblr a lot. And Tumblr was the main source of finding roleplay events before people started taking bigger advantage of Party Finder. And I would just find there are always tons of events going on, but that ate up so much of my time. And then after I found events, I would reach out and ask if people wanted it to be covered. And then we would have to make sure that a reporter could make it to that event to report on it. So it was like super meta roleplay. We were like role-playing the process of making the newspaper. It was very immersive and very fun, and I think that it helped bring the community together in a lot of ways, because people who were aware of it were going to those events that we would report on, which I thought was really nice, and people really wanted us to cover their stuff.
Were you getting a lot of requests from people, or?
No, I think people just posted in hopes that they would get picked. We were such a small team, though. We had very few actual reporters some weeks, so we would have to send the people who took screenshots to do like photo versions of articles, kind of like National Geographic has photo articles. So it just depended on the week and the situation. There were mostly like parties, and we reported on a few clubs. There were a lot of restaurants back then, so we had a lot of restaurant reviews. What was really nice is we had a few people reach out to us for other things. Like we ended up getting an advice column, which I thought was really cute. And someone on the server who did comics on Tumblr ended up doing comics for our newspaper too.
So like pretty much like a real newspaper then.
Mm-hmm.
That's really interesting, yeah. Like I remember, like I skimmed a little bit through your first, because I think it's still on your card.
It might be.
I think I saw it on your card.
Oh no, the website's domain is gone. I have to talk to my friend about getting it back. But I'll see if he can send some of the PDFs, and I can send it to you guys if you want to look later.
Yeah, that would be super interesting for sure. Like see a lot of the history of the RP and the server. That's super interesting.
Yeah, I really liked it because it was a nice way to log what the server was up to. There were also a lot of like really interesting art venues. Like there was an opera. There was somebody who did stuff the way A Stage Reborn does stuff. This was before we had Diablos on our data center. We had We had festivals. Those were really cool. They would like bring people to perform. There was even like a little K-pop group, and they would macro dances and do performances with these timed abilities. It was so cool.
I think I found your Crystal Chronicle as well. I'll post it in the Discord before I post it in the chat. Make sure this is the one you're talking about. So
Yes, that's it.
Perfect. All right. So if people are interested, this is this one, and you have all the old edition as well.
Yep, every single old edition, because we wanted to make sure we kept a log of it.
Yeah, and that's like a lot of work. I can see that.
Skimmed through some of them. It's just really impressive.
Thank you. We got to end it with a pretty huge bang. There was a character who left the FC at some point, and she was in charge of finances. So we basically there was a joke where one of the people that we worked with showed up on an alt to the house, and we started joking about tax evasion. So then we decided to make that joke real, and my character and two of the other officers got arrested for tax fraud.
Yeah, like
And
I'm
that
looking
was-
at the last one, and yeah, that's
Amazing.
That was great. That was so fun. I thought that was the most fun way to end publication.
it's such like a meta way to end it, but it's such a great way as well.
There's something really funny about the line Crystal Chronicle staff accused of tax evasion liable. This is such a funny headline.
It was really funny.
If you had more time, would that be something you would want to pick back up?
I think it depends. The editor-in-chief and I both agree that like I don't think it would have been possible without that specific team of people. So I think if everyone was on board, I would maybe consider it again, because I think it really did liven up the server quite a bit. People tried after to run stuff that was similar to this, and it was just so much work. I don't know if any still run. I know Wark is even Wark might have stopped doing distribution. Wark was a magazine, and they contacted us when they started. I think they got noticed by Kotaku.
How's it? Oh, is it spelled? I can check.
Wark, W-A-R-K.
WRK, FF14. Let's see. That. And Curator magazine from 3 years ago.
Oh, I found it. I'll put it in the Discord. Wark was really good. It was a monthly magazine.
Actually, about to ask you if you think the newspaper would be more feasible if y'all had switched to a monthly format instead of weekly.
We did consider it when we started talking about being burnt out, but I think part of the problem was our format really only worked in weekly because we would be reporting on current events a whole month after the fact. So I think we would have had to change the kind of content we wanted to put out.
That makes sense.
Yeah, no, like I'm looking on Reddit and it doesn't seem like it's published anymore. For Wark, I mean.
Yeah, I think they stopped. I think they got burnt out because it was also a lot of work, and I think that was just 2 people.
Yeah, no, I can see like doing that type of thing with only like a really small team. It's insane.
Yeah.
Like even
Absolutely admire the dedication.
Yeah, no.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and I completely support anybody who wants to do this on another server, or even another Balmung publication.
Like, yeah, I can see like that being a great way to, like you said, advertise other people and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, we had FC recruitment listings too for people and upcoming events so that people could make plans to go to things. One of the coolest things about this was we never advertised outside of the game. So the only way you knew when a new edition was out was when we were doing shouts in cities.
Cool.
That's really like that. I think that's the best way to do it as well, because the people that would look at it are people in the game that are interested in that in the first place. So
Yeah.
so that makes total sense for that for sure. And since then, now I think your FC is rebranded again, or
We have changed to being information brokers.
okay, that's the latest thing. Okay.
Yeah, we thought that since we were a newspaper, we can take all the information we stored and start distributing it another way. So a lot of that involves various stuff. Most of the time it's like science knowledge. So one of our divisions goes out and excavates like old artifacts and researches those, and then once they have the information they need, they sell it off and then sell the information.
Like, yeah, like on your FC website, I guess I can say, like you have like all the department, everything, like all explained.
Yep. Some of those are flavor departments, like the archives is not really one that has any roleplay in it, but is there because it exists in our lore. The archives are like handled by NPCs, and it's just a way for us to kind of build better immersion when people join.
Yeah, like I'm looking at things, and yeah, everything is super detailed. All the crystal. You had also the Garnet Gazette on that?
Yes, the Garnet Gazette was something that started from one of the members that worked on the Crystal Chronicle with us. He's actually doing his own FC now. I think that project put out 6 editions before stopping. I don't really know the details of why. But we do in character keep archives of all of those, just because somebody put it out there and we want to make sure that people know it exists.
Like, yeah, I can see like all the other thing you talk about, all like the link into your website, all talk about and all like archive it, like you said about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is super neat as well, because that's like a lot of the history on the server.
Yeah, that's why we wanted to keep the website up.
Yeah, no, that's super interesting for sure. And that must have been like a lot of work, like you said, and that's, yeah, like big kudos to you. That's really impressive for everything you did there.
It was a lot of work, but so much fun.
But yeah, like you said, if it prevented a little bit the fun you can have the game at the same time, because you were like focusing on that only. So yeah.
Yeah, my entire sub time was dedicated to this instead of being able to do other things. And sometimes you just want to log in and kick back and do things like Gold Saucer or try Savage Raids.
But yeah, like there you were, I guess it was feeling like a second job for that.
Oh yeah, definitely. My weekends were booked. I couldn't really go out with friends either. Because I had to make sure that everything was squared away every week.
Yeah, no, I totally understand, and yeah, no, it's I cannot say it enough, but it's really impressive what you did with that. I really cannot say it enough, because this is a lot of thing and a lot of detail, and it's all well written and stuff like that. Like it showed that you love. It showed that you love that, because it showed that there's love put in that project for sure.
Yeah, I know the
Totally
editor in
agree.
chief said that she would absolutely do it again if we ever wanted to.
Like, yeah, if you had more time or stuff like that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't think I have the time now.
Unfortunately, that's part of life. A lot.
Yeah.